I made it, yay. Okay, so that took a minute. Sorry. Mm. All right, so um, my internet went out, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's because it started raining over here, and I was like, what's going on? So this is the backup internet, but I'm still trying to see if I can get the other one going because I moved to my workstation because I feel like I need to be doing some work also. So this is kind of like two sessions in one. Um, how I want to, talk about some things and then actually lead into some other things. But before I get too much into this, um, I want to dedicate this session to Trey Nichols. And I want to do that because he is a creative. Okay. He was a photographer and a skateboarder. He was special and unique in this world. And I hope his leaving this realm was not in vain. Okay. So I'm to a point where I'm kind of tired of seeing this kind of thing happen in the United States. And I feel like I'm doing my part in coaching people in this way. So yeah, so as I tinker around with the things, just know that there's a better way than having to live in a world where people don't value you. Okay? We can live in a world or create one where you get more appreciation, you have more satisfaction. Um, yeah, there's just a better way. There's a better way. And I hope that I don't have to ever dedicate a session like this to someone who has left this realm before their time. Okay? So today's work is based around challenging your blocks. And I guess one of the first things I want to talk about is what are blocks or uh, obstacles. So you might have a goal that you want to make or achieve, a dream. I don't like saying dream because most people start associating dreams with things that don't come true, like, oh, it's just a dream, it'll fade away. But no, it's a goal, okay? And all goals are achievable. So with that is a reframe of the wording. So, in order to achieve your goals, of course, you gotta know what they are. What are your goals? What is it that you're looking to achieve? Secondly, you gotta start thinking about the steps that it's gonna take to get you there. What habits do you need to start developing? And then, all of this is not stepwise, by the way. I'm just saying it in this particular order. But the next part is understanding your blocks and the challenges that you might face. So there might be some physical challenges, and then there's some deeper mental/emotional challenges. And I kind of want to touch on more on the mental and spiritual emotional challenges, but I will touch on the physical ones. So yes, there are physical challenges, and one of the things I was thinking about as I was preparing for this was thinking about what physical challenges I had to deal with as Nerd Queen. Because remember, I'm a singer songwriter. Um, there are some of the more obvious ones, like when I was younger, I lived out in the country. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, basically. Um, we did have satellite, so please, so funny. It's like people would always be like, "Well, do y'all get this and that?" It's like we have more stuff than you have, people who lived in town, as I like to say, it's like we didn't have that many finances. We didn't have these expenses that some people had to deal with, you know. So we had things. So we had nice TV, we had all the cable networks and stuff like that. But we just didn't live in town around people. So there was that, the physical aspect of all of that. But we had access to television, radio, books, so things like that. So I, as a teenager, eliminated those blocks by when I did get allowance. Uh, went ahead and invested in myself. You can invest in yourself as young as whenever possible, right? So I had magazine subscriptions. I know I had one to Rolling Stone at the time, one time, and Spin magazine. Even had one to Musician magazine, and that one I still have. Like, I'm looking over there to where they are. They're stored. I need to set them out. But those were the things that helped me get educated. It's like, and magazine subscriptions don't cost that much, okay? And that was back then, like, what, back in the 80s, 90s, okay? It didn't cost that much for a magazine subscription, and the knowledge kept coming to me month after month. So there was that. And then I also, again, with my allowance money, I purchased some, like, music books, as in how to play instruments, you know? So again, back then there were correspondence courses for songwriting. I did one of those where you do your homework. You get they were in tape form. And again, I still have them somewhere over there. It's funny. But cassette tape form, you listen to the lesson, you do the exercises, you do the work, you send it off to your teacher, and they send you back feedback and all that good stuff. So there was that. And then I also bought a video, like VHS video course on playing the piano. So there are ways to get what you need. And now that there's the internet, the fact that you're watching me right now, you could be anywhere in the world, okay? These physical obstacles are no more. But I'm just throwing it out there for those people out there who are saying, well, I don't have this because I live in this place. It's like, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. Not anymore. Okay, so that leads to the other obstacle. When people throw out the physical obstacles, let me rotate a little bit, let me actually unplug. I think my chair, this is my work chair, but it's also connected to my massage. I put a massage pad on it because sometimes you just have to work, right? You gotta work. Anyway, let me unplug it. All right, so now I can adjust a little better. All right, so yeah, so once you deal with the physical obstacles, which there are none, I'm sorry, we live in a world where we just don't have them anymore. Then there are the mental and emotional blocks, and those, to me, are more serious in situations where we're trying to achieve our goals. One of the things I teach people is that you've got to, first of all, kind of move, as they say, move in silence. That is a real thing. You really do kind of have to, because there are people who you want to trust and confide in, and you want people to motivate you and cheerlead you on. But I think what ends up happening is a lot of people start to realize that there are some people that are not supportive. They're not going to be supportive. And I don't think that they even have the tools enough to be supportive. Sorry. So again, I'm trying to see if I can get my other internet working, because part of my workstation has the big screen and is it working now? No. The big screen, and I can read my screen easier this way. And yeah. But yeah, there's so many people who, they they want somebody to support them, to cheerlead them on, but I think early on you kind of have to do that yourself. But there are ways to find the people. Like, for example, if you found this video, you found one one outlet. So surround yourself with things that will keep you going, that will continue to keep you inspired and motivated. Okay, so this last week I found a new YouTube channel. Like, I kind of have a little bit of uh again, you got to have discernment. So there are channels out there that will totally get you in the mood to do your best work, whatever it is, to get through feeling tired, um, or seemingly tired when you're just emotionally tired. You just really need that pep. There's a few YouTube stations out there. Just find the right one for you. Um, there's some in different aspects, like that are just like not knowledge based, and then there's like religious based. There's even spiritual based. So there's videos out there for you. Okay, so there's that, and then for the deeper inner work aspect of it, and that's kind of where I'm leading to right now. It's like you've got to start doing some investigations into yourself. And this is where people get scared of themselves, myself included. Um, you get afraid of what's holding you back, when really what's holding you back is probably you. It's probably you. And that's hard to realize. And but what exactly is it? So you have to start thinking about the sensations in your body and go from there. So if, for example, if I said, name your goal, and if I said, as a person named Billy Bob, saying, I want my goal to be to make a lush, wonderful container garden, successful one, by the end of the summer, is producing wonderful vegetables and herbs. So that's a goal. Now, if me as Billy Bob was getting a sensation in my body in saying that, you need to start noticing that. It's either probably going to be a sensation of pleasantness, excitement, enthusiasm, or it might be another sensation. Now, it could feel like burning, it could feel like dread, it could feel like heaviness. That's what you've got to start paying attention to. Those are the seeds of the blocks. If you're feeling like, oh, so much, it's like, usually when I ask people what their goal is or what their dream is, they'll tell me, but then in the same instant, in the same breath, they'll also tell me, but they can't help it because I'm this and that. They literally just programmed within themselves they connected their goal to the block. Okay? And that's not good. Please don't do that. Do not connect your goal with the block you have. In fact, if anything, find out what the block is and work it. Work it out. Buff it out. Something. And this is where I'm going to give you right now, probably, let's see, I'm looking at my clock, and I need to figure out my internet. About 2 minutes to write down, and let me see, this was the issue. Like, that's why I wanted my internet up. So I was going to write in, oh no, write in the, see, I have my phone though. In the chat, but I'll put it in the description right now, later, what the prompt is. Okay, so your journaling prompt right now is What is your goal that you want to achieve? And what is holding, what are you feeling about that goal? It's a two-part question. What is your goal? And what are you feeling about that goal? Okay. And so I will, with my backup internet, oh my gosh, my poor little phone. I'll be quiet and give you 2 minutes. Okay, I know that's longer than 2 minutes, but I really needed to figure out. I still don't know what's going on with my internet. Oh my goodness. But it is what it is. You go around it. And that's another thing. You take on these challenges, you knowing that there's going to be something coming. So, again, if you were writing in your journal about the prompt, what is your dream? Or, sorry, what is your goal? Because we're reframing it because we don't want to associate dreams with things that are flighty, okay? So, what is your goal? And what is your feelings around that? Okay? Now, and I just made my little, I've done a lot of things here. I know, I totally haven't made my little thing, y'all, sorry. But if you are having like emotional, like heaviness, it feels like dread, it feels like something in your stomach, if it feels like instantly you're just starting to worry and get afraid, that is something that, yeah, you've got to start doing inner work around that. You got to push through. looking for my other notebook. I have lots of them, as you can see. um, so yeah, so you've got to push through a lot of these blocks. Now, one of the things, so one of the things that you could be feeling is, in general, is fear. Fear of failure. Okay? But the thing is this, you probably are going to fail. So the first time. So you don't see, this is where it gets interesting. You will fail. But how long will it take for you to recover and keep going? That's the real question. Okay? So if your fear is I probably won't make it. I probably will fail. And that's where you kind of have to start. Sorry, I'm doing some more adjusting here. Probably where you're going to have to plan for failure, because it is going to happen. Okay? Every step of the way, something's going to happen. Okay? So just know that something's going to happen. Even as me, as a singer-songwriter, my master plan, and I'm such a nerd, but anyway, I planned out this whole college career for myself, and I was looking at schools and like music conservatories and this and that, and I was under a scholarship, and the scholarship, I found at the last minute that it was only geared towards schools in the state I was in. And that was devastating to me, like seriously, because I literally kind of like, I think I was graduating that month, and I found out because I started looking for housing out of state, and then going back to my scholarship, and they were like, yeah, you can't yeah, even though you got accepted into this school and you're looking for housing and all this other stuff, yeah, we can't, we're not going to pay for any of that because it's not in the state that you live in right now. And I'm like, ay. So yeah, I was devastated. So my, like, that was like, I didn't ask for much in life as I recall now, but that was like that one thing I wanted and needed to help move my career along. Because yeah, in high school I was studying music by myself, self-study, and in school I was doing it, I was working it. So finding that out was devastating. And my parents, I guess we even went on college tour, like seriously. Yeah. So anyway, just thinking about that as a flashback. So sad. But what I ended up doing was, yeah, applying to another school at the last possible minute, because I'm a nerd, y'all. I got in, of course, but I had to make my own way. Okay, so that's the physical thing. So fear of failure is going to happen. Have more than one plan in place. Figure out, now my screensaver is acting out. All right, so have more than one plan in place on what's going to happen when, or if and or when, okay? So that you don't get so discouraged if you're afraid of failure. Now, the next one is a little tougher, actually, a fear of success. And I think a lot of us, and I'm going to put myself in there included, have this fear of success. And I feel like this is something that has happened to a lot of people who are successful, and they end up, as they say, crashing and having disruptive behaviors, getting into drugs and alcohol and, addictions of various natures, because they feel like they can't keep up the success. So that's a part of the fear of success. It's like, yeah, I got it, but how long am I going to have it? And how long am I going to keep it? And you start to feel sometimes you're only as valuable as your success. And again, it's almost like a weird echo effect. Afraid of success because you got to hold on to it, because then you're afraid of failure, right? So the fear of success, you got to have, again, and that's what I'm working on systems to help me navigate being okay, being successful, knowing that it's okay to be successful. It is. Okay. I'm going to take a little sippy sip of my drink. All right. So I'm trying not to put the name brand on the screen. Last week I spilt my kombucha. It was bubbling up, and I do have another, by the way, down here. I stay hydrated, okay? Or as best I can. This one is a euphoric. Even though I'm not showing the name brand, I'm sure if you're in the know, you know already by the can and the color what it is. But you know, so the fear of success and the fear of failure, they kind of go hand in hand with that. Then there's the fear of just not being good enough, right? And that kind of shows up and manifests itself in procrastination. Again, sometimes I deal with that. Sometimes I'm avoidant. I'm like, I'm very much an avoidant person. I'm a runner. I'm like, I'm gonna get away from this situation um, when it's uncomfortable. So the fear of not being good enough, when really, and I guess, people have been talking about imposter syndrome, and that's what that is, a fear of not being good enough or feeling like you're good enough. And you are exactly where you need to be at the time that you are in, right? So that's basically, it's okay to be a brand new, person in your family who's graduated college. It's okay. It doesn't have to look a certain way. And I know in certain communities, like, I'm brown. In certain communities, a lot of people around you, us, will tend to tell you you gotta look a certain way and act a certain way so that they will accept us. I'm like, you gotta choose your own path, basically. The younger generation out there, if you're watching, hi. They, for the most part, I think, from what I'm seeing, they kind of know that, yeah, you choose your own path. But then there's people who are a little more in my age range and in, like I say, in the skin that I am in, are still hung up in this whole idea of what you're supposed to look like or what you're supposed to be like, and what people who look like you and me don't do. I was like, well, change that. You could be the first. There's a lot of firsts. And I hope, again, to live in a lifetime where there are no more first. Okay? So, really taking it head on. Really just knowing that there's going to be some challenges, knowing that people are going to be like questioning what you're doing, even though you might not tell them at first. And this, again, what I advise people: don't tell people what your plans are. I mean, I only just started this week telling people, only because I have gained such traction and because, as an educator, it's very feasible. I'm like, I'm writing books, not a book, books. Okay. And luckily, I do have supportive people around me, and they're just like, oh, and they're curious. So it's not like, you can't write a book, you're blah, whatever. It's like, yeah, I can write a book. Writing a lot of them. So once you start getting into the trenches of challenging these blocks, shining a light on it, making friends with it, knowing that It's okay to still feel this way. This is what I teach kids when we get to our character traits units in the second grade. So being brave is this is what I teach them. So having courage and being brave. So being brave is when you know what you're afraid of, and yes, you are afraid, but you do what you need to do anyway. So I'm going to ask y'all to be brave. You know, do it scared, as they say, because waiting until you're not scared, that might not ever happen. And one of the things I fall back on when coaching students, and Barbara Streisand is a prime example. She, what, in the 50s, 60s, is a wonderful, awesome singer. Had a string of movies through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I think in the 90s, she developed stage fright, right? It's like after decades of being a performer already, she ended up having stage fright for some years. And I think she's worked through them. I don't know if she is a singing performer at this point in time. Maybe she's retired from that. She still does movies. And she was doing movies. And see, that's the thing. So she wasn't like stage frightened in other aspects. It was just on the live stage. And it happens. So, and because those kind of things do tend to happen, you just have to get into your system the habits I kind of touched on last week. The habits you rely on them when you're scared, when you don't feel like it, when you're like having a day of like is this ever going to, it's like don't think about that, just do it. You're becoming, okay? Just like a little seed that grows into a lovely rose, okay? The seed doesn't ask itself, oh, it's so hard to push through this dirt. Oh, finally gets out to the sun. Oh, I wish it would rain. Yeah, I'm feeling dry, but somehow I'm still growing. I'm just pulling resources from underground as much as I can. Oh, oh, these bugs are on top of me. They're biting my leaves. I don't like it. When can somebody else come save me? See, again, that's another, issue that some people do have, You just keep going. Keep becoming. The obstacles are coming. Just keep becoming. And that's the best advice I can give anybody, really. Keep becoming. Don't let obstacles get in your way. Try to think of another analogy. It's like, but I don't know. The seed one is the one. It's like a seed does not worry about. I hate when that happens. The seed does not worry about when it's going to become a rose. That seed knows it's going to have to push through. Push through. Okay? Keep going. Even when it's drought season, somehow it's still growing, pulling water from underground, nutrients from underground, not waiting for a gardener to come dust the leaves to get the caterpillars off of it. It's still growing. It's hurting, ouch, yeah. But I'm still gonna keep growing, finding some trellis to help support me. Keep going. That's the whole point until you get to that stage where it's time to bloom. Okay? Keep becoming. Okay? Keep becoming. And they do keep saying it's the journey, and I know it sounds cliche. I know a lot of people might be tired of hearing it, but really in the spiritual realm, it's not the destination, y'all. It is the becoming. That is your journey. That is your test. That is your mission. Is the becoming. You know? And I feel like if I can help more people realize that you don't have to wait. You don't have to look for a guru, even though, like I said, there's some things you can do. I mean, there's the internet. We're here now. Um, there are books you can read, hopefully one of mine when it's ready. There are things you can do to help you manifest, okay? Keep going. Just keep going. Fail forward, again, as they say. Take those hard knocks. Take those L's, as they say, are lessons. Keep going, okay? Celebrate those mistakes. There are things where, as an educator, it's so funny to me. It's like I see some of my colleagues will teach growth mindset, and that's a book also, but then they don't embody it themselves. Like behind closed doors and in our meetings, it's a whole nother story. They're afraid to try. They're afraid, like, I've never done that before. What if I mess up? I just want to see somebody else do it first. Be bold, okay? Maybe you're the one. Maybe it's you, okay? Maybe it's you that's going to help, okay? Make the difference. So, I want to keep this one short because, you got your journal entry. I hope you think on that. I want you to, it is hard, and it's not a one and done, okay? Like I said, I'm a procrastinator. I really am. Like, I feel like last summer I could have did a whole lot more, in a lot of things. And I kind of got sidetracked and side railed and then used those things as excuses when really I was like, no, accountability. You got to come back and say, you know what? Wasn't the best plan, so let's plan something different. Let's try something else. Now you know what not to do next time, okay? Now you know what not to do the next time. Just saying. Fail forward. Take those L's. Take care. So before I go, make sure you like and subscribe. Watch my other videos. I'm trying my best to get out more content. That's a part of my plan, action plan, as I'm writing books and getting out more content and reaching out to you. Like, what's holding you back? Okay? We all deserve to get what we want out of life. There is more than enough, I assure you. There is more than enough. Okay? And with that, I'm going to let you go. Take care.